Joining us now on the Sunday Night Sports Wrap, John Karalis, Celtics beat writer for the Boston Sports Journal. John, thanks so much for coming back, Rhode Island native. Let's start with this, with the Celtics. Two quick wins the last couple nights. They're back to 500. They're 23-23 overall. Has anything changed in your eyes the last couple nights in order for the Celtics to pull out these two wins?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. Against Milwaukee, we saw them really kind of change how they were playing their offense. They were really focusing on that ball movement, attacking, backdoor cutting, something that really they haven't done a ton of this year. So I thought that was a nice kind of move. Now that they don't have to play double bigs, they can play four floor spacers out there. They can really emphasize on using that extra space to cut and move and get that ball popping, and less ISO ball dribbling into the, just dribbling the air out of the ball type of stuff. And then with the win last night, they were able to get like a little boost, a little energy boost. Marcus Smart talked about some of these new guys that came in. Luke Cornett hit two of those big threes. They have fresh legs, and I think that's going to be one of the biggest things that we see. Three guys with fresh legs, once Evan Fournier is available, that are able to kind of, when the Celtics are kind of mired in the muck, able to give an energy boost. They've got full tanks of gas, so that's going to be really important moving forward.
So first time since 2015, Danny Ainge makes an in-season move. What can we expect out of the new additions, and how will they maybe change the identity of the Celtics moving forward?
Well, I think one thing you're going to get is some scoring off the bench somehow, whether they decide to start Evan Fournier or move him to the bench. Either way, he's a 20-point scorer. And if they move Marcus Smart to the bench, let's say, and have Marcus Smart be the backup point guard, and even Marcus Smart can be in closing lineups, that still gives you some scoring off of the bench, a guy who can run the offense off the bench, a great passer. And if you play Mo Wagner, if you play Luke Cornett, those guys can hit the three. Those guys have been energy guys before. And maybe a change of scenery, maybe a new situation unlocks a little something with them. We've seen time and time again, like even against OKC with Moses Brown. He's a guy that was undrafted, that didn't play much in other stops, and then all of a sudden he's dropping a 20-20 game practically in the first half. So sometimes the situation can kind of unlock something with these guys. But again, mostly it's about those fresh legs and getting them out there, the big guys setting those picks and having the legs under them to take those three-pointers and pick and pop and create some space.
So now that the trade deadline is over, the buyout market, is sort of the hot topic now around the league. We see some Eastern Conference contenders making some additions with some key veterans. Is there a few players in your eyes the Celtics could target, or is there somebody worth the Celtics even going after or talking to?
So in my opinion, I'm done. I don't think there's anybody in the buyout market that they should target. There was some talk about Andre Drummond, which I was very confused by. I'm very staunchly anti-Andre Drummond. You've got, unless they feel like there's a real risk of Robert Williams re-injuring that hip, but you traded for two big guys, and I would just rather those guys be the backup plan. There's no need to risk taking minutes away from Robert Williams. If there's any sort of need that I can see with the Celtics team, is maybe you want to get another point guard just in case Kemba Walker and his knee have some sort of a relapse or something where he misses more time, or if Marcus Smart, who just came back from a calf injury, suffers another kind of injury. There's always something with his style of play that puts him at risk for missing some games. So if there's another point guard that becomes available that you can maybe target, then you can do that.
The next 7 games for the Celtics are all at home. They haven't played a game yet at home with fans in the crowd. We know how it affected the Bruins the last couple nights. They appreciated, even just a couple thousand people in the building. How do you think it helps the Celtics now that they're going to be home for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, they've got 2 straight weeks of home games, which, first of all, just that is such a relief from these guys. You heard Brad Stevens talking about that, and it was you can see it in his eyes behind the mask. He's just like, thank you for being home. But to have even 2,200 fans or so in the stands, look, when you throw a lob to Robert Williams and, he makes an exciting play, there are actual human beings around in the stands that can actually, celebrate and jump up, and you can, as a player, look up into the stands and point at people, and hey, that gives you a little bit of a boost. That, as a player on the floor, that does give you just a tiny shot of adrenaline, and that could be the difference between going on a run and letting the other team kind of answer that basket. That little extra juice could be getting a stop, getting a steal, getting a block shot, getting out into transition, and finishing a couple more baskets. Next thing you know, it's an 8-2 run, and that changes the course of a game. So fans are going to be, I think, pretty important to these guys.
Celtics right now in the 7th seed in the East. They're a few teams away and a few games away from the 4th, but they're only a few games away from 10. Really tight between 4 and 10 right now in the East. With the expectations, John, that were set on this team at the beginning of the season, is this stretch make or break if they want to be a top 4 team this year in the East?
Yeah, I think this is going to be the time, especially if Evan Fournier is back. I don't know what the situation is with him in the health and safety protocols. Brad Stevens did say that there might be one of these guys in health and safety protocols that could be coming out for this week. So we'll see who that is. But if Evan Fournier can't come back and contribute, then these next 2 weeks are huge, because you're at home. It's still an every other day grind, but you go sleep in your own bed. You have a regular routine that it doesn't involve being stuck in a hotel somewhere. It just makes you feel better about yourself as a player. It gives you another little bit of energy. So if they can come through these 7 games and climb back to the 4th seed, then that gives them some more confidence to move forward in the last bit of the schedule and maybe hold on to that. And hey, when you're playing that first round series at home versus on the road, that makes a difference. And as crazy as this season has been, the Celtics do still have a chance to make some noise, and you just never know what's going to happen to these other teams, because everybody's facing these pitfalls. Something could break for the Celtics even after all of this. So this next couple of weeks will put them into either a good position, or all of the optimism would have been for nothing.
So the next 7 games, 4 or 5 are winnable. It all starts Monday night, 7:30 at home against the Pelicans. John, enjoy the atmosphere at TD Garden. Thanks so much for hopping on. We'll have to have you again.
Thanks.